Lululemon is suing Costco, accusing the warehouse chain of selling knockoffs of its luxury athletic brand.
On your side's Christine Lazar is looking into the case and what it could mean for the fashion industry we see so many do.
Yeah, well, when this first broke yesterday, I thought, why Costco?
Right.
I mean, there's dupes everywhere.
Absolutely.
But also, if this lawsuit is successful, what does that mean for the dupe culture?
Ooh.
So Lululemon filed the lawsuit here in California last week, even though it is notoriously difficult to sue over so-called dupes. Professor Susan Scafidi is the director of the Fashion Law Institute at Fordham Law School, and she's joining us now to discuss Lululemon's claims of unfair business practices. Good morning, Susan. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Christine. Nice to be here.
So first off, what does Lululemon's lawsuit allege, and what are they seeking out of this?
Well, as you pointed out, Lulu has been subject to lots of copying by lots of people. And so what they've done is take a deep dive into intellectual property law and look at different ways that they can maybe try to protect not just their name, not just their logo, that's easy, right? But to protect the actual shape of and style of the garments. So they've got over a dozen different claims that they are looking at in this case alone.
Now, Lululemon has really been on the forefront of trying to protect its intellectual property. But do you think it has a case here with Costco?
Absolutely, you're right. Lulu, going back a decade and a half, went after Calvin Klein and its manufacturer, more recently after Peloton, and those cases settled. Do they have a case this time? Well, obviously, different claims, different strengths, but absolutely, they've really done their homework in looking at the similarities between the hoodies, the men's trousers, the warm-up jackets that they are claiming they own in terms of the designs. They've gone to the U.S. Trademark Office and the U.S. Patent Office to register some of these, so they already have some government buy-in in terms of their rights to protection. And they've pointed out that consumers are already recognizing Lululemon without even seeing the label or the logo, usually on celebrities. So they are ready to run.
Now, we have a dupe culture, right, where we see consumers constantly looking for more affordable versions of higher end and luxury brands. So if Lululemon is successful, could this have a ripple effect for that entire industry?
I'm sure Lululemon and even many of its competitors are hoping so, because as you pointed out, people used to be a little ashamed of fakes. We used to hide them. We used to pretend they were the real thing. Some people still do that, but more and more, we're just going on TikTok and bragging about the fact that we found a dupe. I think part of that's even just the word. It's adorable. It's not a counterfeit. It's not a knockoff. It doesn't sound as serious or legally threatening. It sounds like something you'd recommend to a friend. But in this culture of sharing the fact that we have chosen dupes over the genuine article has spread dramatically over the past few years. And so what Lululemon is doing in one way is trying to dial that back. They've done it through legal means with their lawsuits. They did it a few years ago with a dupe swap. Opened up special kiosks in a mall and out in LA with you all and said, look, bring us your dupes from anywhere. We'll replace them with the real thing. You'll see the difference. I don't know if it worked or not, but it was certainly a media moment, trying to change the way people think about dupes and trying to dial back the widespread acceptance of dupes in current culture.
And I have one more question for you as we talk about these dupes, because they really are everywhere, especially on social media. Why Costco? There are so many knockoffs. I remember Walmart, for instance, created a Birkin bag knockoff. Why do you think they're targeting Costco?
Yes, the Walmart working. Everyone was working it for a while. They were trying to. I think Costco, because it is big, it is recognizable, and it is a multi-brand retailer. Therefore, they can, by going after Costco, go after not only Costco's wholly owned brands like Kirkland, but also some of the other brands that Costco carries, like Danskin and Jockey. So we all recognize Costco, and I think that helps also because every time you file a lawsuit, it's also a press release, at least if your name is as big as Lululemon and your opponent is as big as Costco.
Yeah, very true. Of course, we've been talking about Lululemon now for 2 days, so they definitely got some publicity out of this. Susan, thanks so much for breaking it all down for us.
My great pleasure. Nice to see you.